Hello Intuitors, it's Aria here. Welcome back to the Intuit Cafe, or as I have renamed it, the Intuit Oracle. I am really excited to bring you another week's worth of readings by sign of the zodiac. I'll be diving right into that in a moment. This will be the same introduction on every video, so if you watch or cross-watch for your moon or rising or Venus signs, or for maybe that partner's sign, you can go ahead and skip forward to the start of the reading. And I just wanted to give a little bit of an update about what's going on with the cards. In case you're new to the channel, the project I just completed, creating my own set of Oracle cards, which really is kind of a intermediate step in the process of my ultimate goal, which truly is to be bringing to everyone some kind of useful tools and ways that they can utilize to tap into their own intuition. And of course, Oracle cards are a really good way to do that with what you can feel inside of you the cards are trying to say to you, when it's not the cards actually, it's your higher self. You're tapping into your higher knowing and the knowing of your higher mind. But the thing and the reason that I believe cards as an intuitive tool works is because all they're doing is they're tricking our conscious mind into kind of taking a back seat and not imposing on our consciousness, on our conscious thought, what it thinks. Because our conscious mind, which I call the planetary mind, it's filled with all kinds of programming and preconceived ideas, and it is not tapped into that higher knowing. And if we want to deliberately tap into our higher knowing, we have to transcend the planetary mind, the ego mind, whatever you want to call it. And the cards are a way of helping us do that, or any kind of intuitive tool actually is a way of helping us do that. And again, I've said this before, but I want to reiterate that I also believe that anyone who goes to YouTube and watches readers such as myself or other readers on YouTube, you're still actually tapping into your own intuitive knowing. And that's the reason that general readings actually work, is because for one, I do believe that energetically it's a very fluid way for the universe to interact with us and send us messages. So, you know, for example, we can be prompted in just some little voice or just urge that's like, you know, I just want to go on YouTube right now and check if, you know, readings. And you just happen to go to one person's reading, and maybe you watch your moon sign and you normally watch your sun sign. So like, you know, whatever, it doesn't matter. You're being guided along the way to see the reading that was really meant for you. And even when you're watching it, then you also are still picking and choosing the parts that resonate and the parts that don't. I always get better, more specific, and even greater detailed readings for people that I do individual readings for. It's always harder to read for ourselves than it is for someone else because of our planetary mind jumping in and wanting to say, no, that's not it, or even just not seeing things. Our planetary mind does get in the way. So ultimately, my goal is to create and develop and launch different intuitive tools. These cards are just a stepping stone. I've already gone through the entire process of developing a really kick-ass app for tarot, and I'm going to use Lenormand in it, and really my plan eventually would be possibly to do a lot of different kinds of intuitive tools, Oracle cards or whatever, all in this app. I have a way of delivering and helping people create their own messages in that app that's not like any other app out there. I'm super excited about it, but I had to completely shelve the project because I got to a certain point where it was developed and then I couldn't go any further without more money. And I was doing a channeling session with a very close friend of mine where we go in and we channel my higher self, and I'll ask the questions and then she receives the message from her. And again, I'm using her as a tool to kind of bypass my planetary mind that will block those messages from coming into me, which sometimes I do get messages and sometimes I feel like I'm not sure, you know, if I'm getting the right messages. Well, anyway, I asked, you know, how will I get the money to develop this app? And my higher self, whose name is Aria, that's why I go by that name when I'm reading, Aria says, well, you'll do it through some kind of crowdfunding. And I said, okay, so should I launch a Kickstarter, you know, to develop the app with the goal of raising money to develop the app? And she said, no, you'll come up with some other project that will be some other creative project that will raise the money for your app. And then I was like, oh, I wonder what that'll be. And then she goes, no, just stop. you're not going to like get there by trying to get there. If you try to think of a way to come up with this creative project, then it won't come to you like that. It'll just come to you. And the only hint she would give me was that I'll really enjoy doing it, and it utilizes my creative skills and abilities. And so I shelved that piece of information so completely that I had 100% forgotten about it. I didn't even think of it. So then I suddenly got this idea for these cards, and I was so excited about it, and I just dove into it, as you might know if you've been following me and didn't hear from me for a month. And so just completed that, and it wasn't until I was all the way finished with it that I was really starting to think, I think these cards have the potential to do really well. That's what, it hit me. I was like, I could use this to develop the app. I could raise the money for my own app this way. And even then, I didn't remember what I had been told by my higher self in that session until later. And it really blew me away because it came true, and it came true exactly the way she said it would, that I wouldn't be like searching for it, that it would just come to me. And I have to say that along the way, the entire process has truly been about learning to surrender my control over things and just going with the flow, creating and manifesting things with the energy of the archetypes of the tarot. Tell us a lot about how to do that, with the magician is the manifester, but the fool takes the leap. And then we have the empress that just attracts things to her. But then we have the emperor that just goes out and gets things done. We have the high priestess, that's our higher knowing that guides us along the way, and so forth. That's the journey of the fool through the major arcana. So that's really what this has been about. And when I'm going to continue to do readings on a weekly basis, because partly just as a gift to everybody who's following me already, and then I want to build a larger audience so that when I'm able to launch the app, we have a place to tell people about it. But in light of all of that, first of all, every one of you, I know you have your own journeys. You come to my channel for different reasons. I do think from the feedback I get that most people are on kind of like some kind of divine love journey, awakening process where you really realize that you're here on the planet for doing something extraordinary. And something extraordinary might just be how you live your life, that you live your life with so much light and love, and you bring in like a higher way of living and being. But along the way, I think we all kind of have this urge and this desire to create and make something that's above and beyond where everybody's kind of been at on this planet for so long. We really are trying to, we're not just trying to, we really are creating the higher dimensional living, which is where we're all headed. We're all headed into a higher frequency where we're tuned into, our consciousness is tuned into our true divinity and the power of who we are as human beings, what we can really do and what we can really accomplish. Now, having said all of that, this introduction got quite long. I'm going to try to keep your readings short this week. They're going to be just a quick look at the week ahead. Thank you guys so much for liking, subscribing, sharing my channel with others. And before I forget, the final thing is that my Kickstarter is doing really well. I'm at 70% funded, and I really would like to do about twice that many. If you are interested in these cards at all, please consider backing it. Share it with others if you know anybody else who might. And again, think about the fact that these cards are actually going to help bring in something else even bigger. So this is seed money to print a larger printing, which then will help me develop and publish the app. All right, so because of that, I'm going to have a special gift. Anybody who backs my campaign, who's a viewer of my YouTube channel, go ahead and you can just select the $66 package, which is the Oracle Trio of the 3 decks, and I will throw in for you the 10 planetary influencers, which is a $22 value, if you just message me back, and that way I'll make sure that you get the extra bonus without having to pay the next package up, which includes it. So just wanted to give you guys that, just my special gift to you for backing my campaign. Again, share this with others if you are so inclined, and we will talk to you soon. Stay tuned right now for your reading by your sign in the zodiac. Hello Gemini, so here's your reading for this week. We're going to take a quick look. I've been shuffling the cards already. This is the Lenormand Oracle, deck 1 and 2, which is the picturesque, your traditional one, and then you've got your Nuance Oracle shuffled in together, and together they make 72 cards that are there's a lot of opportunity for messages to come through. You don't even have to know how to be a card reader or a Lenormand card user. You can just start using the cards right away, easily for anyone. All right, so we're going to do the 5-card spread and a quick look at your week ahead. The card in the middle is really what's going to be the center card for the reading and what this is all about. And we'll take a look at it first. So I have mask. Something in this situation or someone has been two-faced or pretending or taking things at face value or not showing their true selves. And this could be you, so be aware of that you could be the one. Often we fool ourselves into thinking that we're being honest with ourselves and we're not. Or this could be someone else you're dealing with. There has been some kind of deception. I also put ego on this card. I wanted to have at least one card in the deck that specifically spoke to ego, which for me is what I call the planetary mind. It's our programming that has, it serves its purpose. I don't believe that ego is necessarily a bad thing, but it's something we should understand or dealing with it when it's coming up. It's good to know, like, okay, this is really being affected right now by our ego mind. Waterfall, flood of emotions, and then the bird's communication. So interesting. The flood of emotions in the waterfall card is actually, I'm trying to remember. I can't remember which one it's paired with at the top of my head. The fish. So the fish are traditionally a card about money, but they also can talk about abundance. So the waterfall takes, and they're also water card, which is emotion. The fish live in the water, so I took those two ideas and then went with it in another direction with the waterfall. It can mean about a lot of something. So when we actually pair it up with some kind of communication, it can just literally say there's going to be a lot of communication with someone. There's going to be a lot of back and forth, talking, or texting or phone calls. So communication is coming up in a really big way. And the situation, but the focus or the thing to remember is that there's something here having to do with a mask being worn. I'm getting also that for some of you it could be that there hasn't been communication with someone because whatever's going on behind this mask is the reasons why, and that's what's getting being focused on right now. So it could even be that this is. You may not experience more communication with that person. They're holding back right now, and this is why, but some of you will. You'll receive some communication. We have the bridge, and I'm going to pull another one. That was supposed to get shuffled back with the animals. Actually, we'll keep him out because he needed to be there for some reason, and I'm going to pull the next one here for, okay, guard. So I really feel like, what is the deal here? You guys are going to be meeting, you're going to be coming together with someone who I feel there has been some kind of a standoff. There has been some kind of a breach, because the bridge actually talks about coming together and uniting and bridging some kind of gap. But I feel like in order for a gap to be bridged, there had to have been a gap. So I'm feeling the situation is about someone you've had a gap with, a breach, that's the word, a breach of communication with someone. A gap was created, but it is going to, you have an opportunity this week to come together. But this mask in the middle is really getting me because what I'm not seeing here is like some kind of answer or solution to what you're supposed to do or know about this mask. The one thing that comes to me is that you need to remember that there's more to the situation than you can see. The mask is covering it up. So there's deception there. It may or may not have been deliberate. For some of you, there was deliberate deception with someone. For others, it's not that there was deliberate deception, but somebody's deliberately holding back. And they're deliberately not letting you see their face. They're not letting, in fact, this could be very literal. Like they're not letting you see your face, and so there's been no communication because they won't let you, you won't be able to talk to them. But it looks like something's going to happen here where you're going to have the opportunity to bridge the gap and have the communication, have the release. There could be a flood of emotions around it too. There's tears of sorrow or joy. In some cases, it could be like a really positive outcome. I mean, I think ultimately everything does work out positively, but maybe in the meantime, there's even some sorrow or sadness about it for some of you. But the garden card is a meeting. Garden card is specifically meeting in a social setting. It could be a public venue, it could be going out to eat, it could be going to a concert or any event or things like that, a party, but it also can just literally mean meeting someone, a meeting. So there's a bridge, communication, you get united and you connect with someone or some people in some way, and there's a lot of communication here. So we already have this, the animal that came out here was the white wolf, which is that you can trust your intuitive knowing. It is your guide in the situation. So truly just for each person, it's going to be different in the whole, situation that unfolds, but you each trust your inner knowing that whatever it is telling you is true, and it will be your guide through this situation. So if you guys are interested in having a set of these cards, if you go to my Kickstarter campaign, pick the $66 package, which is all 3 decks, and then message me, say you're a viewer of mine, and I will make sure that you get the additional $22 set of planetary influencers for free. It's a completely extra set of cards. If you pair them with the signs of the zodiac, you actually end up with the major arcana. So you could shuffle them into the deck, and then they have they bring in those meanings of the major arcana as well, which is kind of cool. All right, we'll see you guys later. Thanks for watching, liking, and subscribing to my channel. We'll see you next week.